Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody has had a happy Monday. You know, it's been some great weather. I want to say my name is Katie Lowe, and I want to welcome you to Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Meta Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And the name of the show today is Opinions. And must I say that opinions are like, assholes. Everybody's got one. Opinion is talk show, a talk show where we all express our opinions about hot topics. And I'd like to say you are so welcome to tune in right here on Facebook with us. If you want to log in, all you got to do is make a statement in the comment section, and I will bring you right in, and you can be a part of the show. Um, I see that we have Professor Dunn. I'm looking for Brother Raymond. I don't see him in the back yet. So I think I'm just going to um, bring in the professor while we wait for Brother Raymond. And we'll talk about what we did the weekend. All right. Let me get him in here. Hey, Professor, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. I was waiting on Brother Raymond. Uh,
I'm sure he'll be here shortly.
okay, well, he's somewhere. I just don't see him yet. But anyway, as I say, this is Opinions on Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Meta Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We usually like for Brother Raymond to come in and lead us in prayer. I mean, he prays so well. And I'm not a good prayer. I pray privately in my own space, but when it comes to leading prayer out in the public, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not good at that. But he's great at that. I don't know. How about you, Don?
Well, I'm pretty cool with it.
Okay, well,
Bless you.
why don't you come on in there and take over? You know, I always say one person don't stop the show. So if you want to take over and lead us off into the prayer, why don't you go on and do that?
First of all, Father God, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to commune and come into agreement and ask for your leadership and divine guidance and blessings and all of the things that we go about doing. Ask you to encamp your angels around the individuals in communities where there are people out there lurking to be used by the evil one to take lives that are innocent. Thank you that we will be able to go forth this day and speak words of wisdom and encouragement that will touch the hearts of individuals across this country. We also ask you to give us the resources and put us in the pathway of individuals with resources that will allow us to go forth and help those who are less fortunate. We thank you and bless your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen, amen. All right. So you know what? We're going to pick up where we left off last week, and then we also want to get around to talking about why people should celebrate and have knowledge about Black history. But I do want to say this before we get off, back to our subject of talking about Tyre Nichols. I do want to say that I want to apologize. I want to apologize for something that I did. I am a barrier of putting out something that was not true. And I'm not the only one, but when I make a mistake, I am not afraid to own up to my mistake. And I did post something on Facebook. Not only did I post it on Facebook, I posted it on the show. And it had to do with saying that The reason that the five cops stopped Tyre Nichols and beat him up like he did had to do with an affair, and that was uh, something that I picked up right before we came on air. And I wanted to say that that was a bald-faced lie. Uh, I've done some research on it, and from what I've heard, that there is not a bit of truth to it. Okay, there is no way that I would want to discredit Tyre Nichols' name in any kind of form or fashion. He is a young man that I do not personally know. I only know um, what I said and what I spoke on is what I get from Facebook. And I got a video that I'm going to play. It's from a young man named Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams is a former police officer from the Memphis Police Department who is no longer there. He has his own detective agency and he lives in Houston, Texas. And he clarified that statement. And I'm going to pull up his video and I'm going to play it. And I hope that everybody will accept my apology because I am not one who likes to spread malicious gossip. And that was a piece of gossip, okay? But I took it and I ran with it. I did not investigate it. And I do want to say I am sorry and I don't want it to listen. As of today, I hope that that doesn't go any further. Okay. I hope that as far as I'm concerned and opinions is concerned, I hope that it stops right here. Right here. I hope we close the door on that malicious gossip that um, Tyre Nichols had an affair with one of the officers' ex-wife or ex-girlfriend. Okay, and that was the reason for him being stopped, for him being beaten, for his death. Okay, I hope that that stops with me, and I hope my listeners will accept my apology. Okay, because I spreaded that because everything that you hear on social media, we all know that it's not true. Okay, so I do hope you accept my apology. Okay, before I play this, while I'm looking for the video, is there anything that you have to say, Professor Kincaide?
Well, I think there's been so many opinions and uh, expert individuals. That's why the night before we were going to come on and air about it, I told you I called to Memphis to talk to some individuals there on site, and still it's difficult because there are so many people there saying so many different things that that's got everybody confused. And of course, anytime we try to go forth with an idea, I simply like for people to know that we're not trying
Yesterday,
to
I made a video
shape.
about my stance as being a former
Hold
Memphis
on.
police
I don't
officer
want to.
and
I
what
don't
I
want to
view
play
was
this
going
right
on with
now.
the Tyre
But
Nichols case.
sometimes when you
One of the things I kept
log it
saying
up in the screen, it immediately starts to play. Okay, now go ahead, Professor.
Well, I don't think we are uh, any of us, any of the ones who are doing the opinions. We're not trying to spread any falsehoods or shape opinions or deal with any political questions or take any stances or whatever. It's simply expressing opinions. And sometimes opinions get kind of misled. So I'm hoping that whatever as was said in the previous show um, will be will be forgiven because we don't want it to become one of those things that people want to keep requoting and using as a tool to try to discredit what we're trying to do with the show here.
Okay, let me play this video clip. Brandon Williams is a former Memphis police officer. He is addressing the Tyre Nichols murder rumor. This is the same rumor that I posted. Okay, I got it off social media. I posted it. He is addressing this rumor. Okay, I'm gonna play the video. So here it is.
Comments was Tyre Nichols was sleeping with blah 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 named officers, ex-wife, baby mama, whatever. So I'm here to dispel some rumors and talk about a lot of things that I saw in the comments that I want to address. That way I don't have to keep answering over again. So, damn. Again, my stances come from three sides: from patrolling for 5 years with the Memphis Police Department personally, to knowing 2 of the 5, and now to also no longer being with the Memphis Police Department. So that's where my stances come from. All right, let's move forward. One thing I hate are rumors, and this is one of the biggest rumors that has already been dispelled by not only the police chief, but the family themselves. I'm gonna tell you this straight up. There is nothing that you will find on Facebook that is credible, and there's no source that you can give me that supports this claim when the police chief herself and the federal investigative unit that is going over the case has already said that these rumors are false. So for the sake of not throwing dirt on the dead's name, please stop it with this shit. Because as of now, he was not sleeping with anybody's baby mama. And all these bullshit ass websites and this bullshit ass Facebook and TikTok posts you're seeing is bullshit.
They cut our mics out.
No, I don't know.
Maybe they cut him out because of the language, but
Probably so.
yeah. I didn't edit it because this is his language, and he's letting us know that what's being said. There's no truth to it. Okay,
Right.
and we should stop it. And that's why when I got on here, let me remove it. Let me see if I can get it out of here right quick. Okay. I want everybody to know that I spent some time afterwards, on Facebook, on the internet, just on social media, period, trying to validate it. Okay, and I couldn't. I could not validate it in no kind of way. Um, and I really felt bad after I did it. I really did. But right before the show, somebody had sent me that, and the person that sent me that was very reliable, very reliable. Okay, because a lot of the things that I post on Facebook, they are sent from different sources. Hold on, they are sent from different sources, and the people that send me news, things to post, the people that send me topics to talk about, they are reliable and they are credible people. And when I received that post, I just felt that it was credible, and that's why I posted it. I did feel bad later because I found out that it wasn't. And I tell you, I could not wait to do this show today. I almost wanted to call everybody and do a show in a couple of days right behind you. Okay, so there's nothing I just don't want to dishonor this young man's name. I think that they've already have done enough to dishonor him by beating him like they did. I mean, just to stop him for nothing, and then just to beat him senselessly. I thought that was enough dishonor and discredit to him as a black man, okay, by the hands of other black men, okay. I thought that was enough dishonor and enough shame. So I just wanted I wanted to definitely move my stigma from it. Let me get this video out of here. Let me remove it. So um, I see Brother Raymond behind stage, but I don't see the video for me to add him to the screen. I've added him, but for some reason his video is not on him. And every day that we look on social media, they have added someone else. They have added someone else to be fired. You know, this thing just keeps manifesting and getting bigger and bigger. And I just want to say that I truly, as an African American female, I truly hope that they can get to the bottom of this because this is, I mean, how long must this go on? African American men have become an endangered species in their own country. Okay? I read an article that was from the Chicago Sun-Times today. Um, I get articles from the Sun-Times uh, through emails, and
Hello.
today I received an article in my email from the Sun-Times, and the article talks about how black men in the 60624 zip code in Chicago, Illinois, where I live, that zip code is not that far from me. And it talks about how these men's lives was almost like men that are on the front line in Iraq when they were in the war. Okay? I mean, when they walk out into the street, they do not know if they're going to make it back home. And it definitely said 60624. That is a predominantly black zip code. Okay? That zip code is right over here on the west side, around Madison Street. Okay? I believe that's the I'm trying to think of the 28th ward. Okay, as a black female, that disturbs me. And
Well, you're right. Absolutely right.
as a black man, that should scare the hell out of them. Go
Well, I
ahead,
mean, the only
Professor.
thing I can do is quite some time ago, I made a pledge um, to put down my weapons. I'm asking other individuals to make that same pledge, not just not just on the west side of Chicago, but on the south side of Chicago, on the north side of Chicago, because Chicago in particular is being targeted from a national perspective because Trump himself tried to pinpoint us as one of those poverty-ridden areas with ignoramuses running around killing each other, and we couldn't do, we could only do better if we supported him. And so, ever since then, we've had a large segment of the population have stepped out and started saying things that they've been feeling anyway. Killing has to stop, no matter who's doing it, especially when we're doing it to each other. So it's not one of those things where we can, I'm not, when I hear people talk about they bashing the officers and they're doing this, and the real travesty in the whole thing is that the people who are out here who care, who are going forth and trying to do what they can do for the community, trying to go forth and live peaceably, trying to go forth and have successful lives and make honest livings. those people have been slapped in the face. Honest police officers, honest black police officers are crying because of what it's going to do to tarnish their reputation. People are going to look at people in blue uniforms from now on who are black, who already had a difficult time getting to be on the police forces and sheriffs and deputies and highway patrolmen and law enforcement, period. They had to go through rigmarole of trying to go through training, everything. They screened them and whatever they did to try to keep them from being there. Then they make it. Then you find a small segment that goes out and they do something like this, and it tarnishes everything, sets everybody back, makes everybody sick who really cares about what's going on with our children and black men in particular.
Let me just read you part of this article because this has happened way before Trump. This has happened way before Lightfoot. Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Let me just I got this article. I received this article. Well, it was updated, but I received it on February the 12th in my email. Okay. And I
Uh-huh.
received this from the Chicago Sun-Times. It's called Violence in Some Chicago Neighborhoods Put Young Men at Greater Risk Than U.S. Troops Face in Iraq, Afghanistan War Zone. Study finds. Researchers say their finding points to a need for more trauma-related health care in these places, especially in West Side zip code 60624. It's by Frank Mann. It said more than a decade, some people have used the term Chirac, a mushed up of Chicago and Iraq, to describe a city whose violence makes some neighborhoods feel like a battle zone. It said the risk of a man between 18 and 29 years old dying in a shooting in the most violent zip code in Chicago, 60624, a swath of the west side that includes Garfield Park, was higher than the death rate from a U.S. soldier in the Afghanistan War or for soldiers in the Army Combat Brigade that fought in Iraq. Okay? Now, this is going on right now. This is sad. This is sad.
Well, I mean, I don't think just black people live in those
But
areas.
that's what this is what lives in the this is what lives basically in those in that zip code. I mean, you find I mean I can look up the ratio and I guarantee you the ratio is 90% black. There are very few whites and others in that 60624 zip code.
Well,
Yeah.
the point.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
Go
Brother
ahead.
Raymond.
Hey,
Go
how
ahead.
y'all doing? Sorry about
We're
being late.
doing
That
fine.
over
How
to
are you?
you know what they're talking about is the facet of being in poverty-stricken neighborhoods and
Okay.
the violence that's perpetuated in those neighborhoods because it's all we see. We're trying to survive at all costs. So if you see the dope man, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, we wanted to emulate that. So with emulating that, everything causes violence and everything costs money. So when they talking about that, they got it accurate because when you look at the ratio where we at in these black and brown communities, so if five of us get killed in time a month, that's like 35 to 50% ratio right there. Then to turn around and 4 or 5 more get killed in this same month. Now you over the Richter scale. Now lives are being threatened. Now is where the parents should have been concerned about sending their children out to these schools and letting them go out and play and do all what they're doing and not participating, because at the end of the day, that's what's going on in our communities. And as I heard the professor say, not just on the west side, it's the south side, it's the north side, it's up north, it's outside, so all in our community, this is what's happening. And guess what? They talk about that ratio, that they talk about the ratio of how fast the police come and how fast the paramedics get there. That ratio is from 10 to 30 minutes before they arrive. So if I'm shot in my stomach and I have a good chance of surviving, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to survive because the paramedics ain't going to get there in time enough to save me. The police are going to come, if they come at all, and they just going to sit there and look at me. See, they're supposed to do things too. They're supposed to do things too. They don't supposed to just look at you when you wounded. They're supposed to press to stop the wound and all that. Put pressure on it and all that until the paramedics come to be able to do the job. But lately, and as we already know, that don't happen. So that's not happening in our communities. But as I was looking at that too, over in Oak Park, you walk right over Oak Park. And something happened over in that Oak Park. Oh, you're going to see them Johnny on the spot. They're going to be taking towels out and everything. But see, that's the color barrier of what's going on. And that's the reason why it's like this. I hate it like that, but it is like that. And it's only a small fraction of it. It's not a big thing, Katie. See, they making it seem like it's so. No, it's 10% of this violence. It's only 10%. They're not talking about the other 40 and 50% unemployment, the unemployment and homelessness, See, all this plays a factor when they're talking about that. And then for them to be messing with Brother Tyre, that's just insane. How could you even say anything about a brother that these cowards just killed live like it was nothing? But we always have found something to say because that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, because
you know what? I had to come on here and retract the statement that I made on the show last week. That was not true, and I did go and do some research because he was not messing around with the cops, ex-girlfriend or wife. So I did come on and retract that. But my thing is, Black men are dying at an alarming rate. Okay? They are. They are every day, okay? I mean, listen, we all are aware it's the way that the news and social media play up things that Black people do. If a Black person does something, it's going to be on the front page, okay? Now, I'm not saying other races don't do things because we know that they do. But when an African American person does something, or a person of color, it's going to be highlighted. It's going to, it's like they put an extra layer on it. Okay? I don't know. We all may see out of different eyes, but that's the way I see it. They put an extra layer when African American people.
Yeah, that's all I was saying in the beginning about us being focused upon people spend things the way they want it to spend for different reasons. Most of the time it's because of some economic thing that they want to do. If they want to come in and gentrify or re-gentrify a certain part of the Black community, they'll try to deliberately let it run down, won't put no funds over there. And then every time you look around, they're talking about what's happening over there on that side, when the long range plan will be to go and build some condos over there later on. But anyway, when it comes down to what we do, we need to stop helping them put us down. Our people need to stop and think about what they're talking about and try to rationalize things before we go. The internet's great if we use it correctly. And then it is the most poisonous tool that you can ever put in a person's hand when it's used incorrectly. If our people don't know what they're talking about, they don't need to be coming. I looked at my phone blows up all the time with people wanting to ask me questions. But then before I get through answering the question they ask me, they become the experts to tell me about what it is they ask. And so I'm unapologetic when it comes to that too, because the only thing we can do is go and find a way to prepare ourselves so that we can be representatives, so that we can be people who come with factual information as much as we can. You gotta remember, 99.9% of the books that we read are controlled by, edited by, printed by a society that never included us as intellectuals in the first place.
Mm.
When you say the word professor, to me, a lot of people probably sit out and grin. What's professorial about him? But if I get on here and start acting a fool and start cussing and stuff, they can relate to that.
Mhm.
So we need to stress to everybody we're talking to that the killing rate lies in our hands, where we have to start somewhere saying we're not going to tolerate it anymore. And therefore, if we're going to be held hostage by the departments, because we're right in between, we're in between the criminals and the law enforcement officers that are crooks too. So if they want to kill somebody and put it on the Crips or the Bloods or whatever else, we'll have to believe that because they'll set it up and make it look that way and have the Bloods and Crips out there killing each other. In the
That's how they
community,
do it.
that's what they do. That's how they spin it. It's how they make it look like. So what are we gonna do to curtail that and turn it around and fix it with organizations because we have a lot of people who have charitable hearts. A lot of organizations are out there really who are trying. A lot of preachers that really have a good heart. They don't have mega churches, but they have churches and they go through and do what they have people feeding folks every day. People giving away furniture. Folks trying to get homeless people off the street. Those people need to be given help to go forth when they're for real, not the ones who are out there trying to make it look like, we're all this and that, and then all the time about some nonsensical crap that we don't have any control over anyway. Last point. I made the point the other day talking to some of my clients about who do you trust with your money, and they say I trust I trust my mama and I trust I trust my family and my best friend. I said, no, you don't. You trust the white folks you never seen that get your money before you get it. Because you hope and pray that they don't give you your money after you've worked a whole month, a week, however long it is to get the pay. They get your money before you do. So you go and ask them, can you have your money? And you don't raise no hell with them. But if you gave it to me to keep, I would have to come up with it, probably have to add some interest to it and give it back to you. But
Mhm.
who do we trust? And that's what we got to answer. We have to have to answer that. Who do we trust and why do we trust them? Is it because of some brainwashing technique, or is it because of what we grow up and find very small groups of people doing and learn not to trust them because of that, and then we whitewash everybody with broad brush them and don't trust the whole. That's what's happening.
We trust everybody but ourselves.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Well, I'm gonna trust my money where I know I can go get it. Okay.
No, I'm just
'Cause
saying in that faction. I'm talking about
I'm
black
sorry.
banks.
You can
We
call me a brainwashed Negro, but
No,
I'm
we
gonna
talking
trust
about
my money where I can go get mine.
we
I'm
talking
sorry.
about black banks though.
No,
We
that was just a rhetorical question,
It can be
okay?
no. I'm just saying it can be a black bank, but I'm gonna trust mine where I can go get it. Okay, and if it's in a black bank, and mine may be in a black bank, but I'm gonna trust mine where I can go get it. Because
Yeah,
I'm
well,
gonna tell you,
whose
I
pictures on it?
I've trusted some people with some of mine, and I didn't get it back.
Whose
So,
pictures on the money?
huh?
Whose picture is on the money, on all the dollar
The
bills?
same people's picture that's been on that money forever. So you know whose picture's on that money.
Well, then those are people you trust because they're the ones that own the money. If we were on the money, then we'll trust us.
Well, we ain't we own very low money, okay?
And not likely to get
Because
on it because people
we don't print no money, okay? We don't print no money with those terms on it. In God we trust, and
it
you
was
know
a
that for sure.
rhetorical question.
I know it.
And
but the whole
Okay,
thing is this.
let's get back to Tyre Nichols though.
Okay, so
Okay, okay. The thing is, after we've had a chance to think about this, and we have because we talked about this last week, we've had a chance to think about this. What have you come up with any kind of conclusion? What would make these cops beat this young man like this? I mean, we've seen the video, and they've had several from several different angles, and we all know that he was illegally stopped. Have you thought of anything that could make 5 black officers beat this man? I mean,
Yeah,
what goes through your
I thought of one of three things I was thinking about. One is that he was targeted because of some of the audio indicates that they were looking for a specific person. Then, of course, I think maybe they got one guy. There's a possibility that they picked the wrong guy, and by the time they realized that that it was too late. By the time they realized it was the wrong guy, that's the first thing I want to believe.
Okay, wait a minute. What do you mean they picked the wrong guy?
They were looking for somebody else, and he fit the description, and they stopped him and they executed him.
So if
It happens all the
who would have
time.
who would have been the right guy?
I don't know. Unless they come forth and tell us who they were looking for, he he was. I believe he may have been chosen incorrectly because they were looking for somebody else other than him. That's one theory. The
Okay.
next theory is that something triggered it. This thing, somebody might have gotten jumped on or something somewhere or whatever. And the third theory is that this group, the Scorpions, have been going around victimizing individuals all over the place. And because of that silent code that we have, the snitch code is what we call in the street,
Mhm.
our people won't say anything about it because they're afraid that vengeance will be upon them. So those are three things that I've been thinking about. So as far as the woman, no, that's off the table for me. Uh, because if anything had happened, they would have been taking photographs and sending them around, and a whole lot more going from the sources I talked to in Memphis. There is no indication that any of that actually happened to the extent that people want us to believe it. So I just think people are doing a lot of conjecturing and posturing and talk about something that we got to wait until the truth comes out until if these officers actually tell what happened.
Okay,
it's the
Raymond.
okay. power. That's one of the reasons why I think they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They inferiority, and wow, nobody's really want to put their hands on that.
Mm-hmm.
It had something to do with that young lady. Now I don't know if he was still messing with her or not. I
Well,
can't.
wait a minute, Raymond. Raymond, that is strictly a rumor.
Okay,
That is a rumor. I mean, I posted that rumor, and that is
okay. So
strictly a rumor. That is not true.
let me say this. Okay, that was a rumor, right?
Yes, it is, Raymond. That's not true.
No, no. I'm saying that's a rumor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay then. So that I go back to the power thing. So
Okay.
you have the superiority because you have the power to pull people over and do what you want to do to them when you want to do it to them. And in this case, it just happened to be black on black, with a exception of the one white cop that pulled a young man over. He asked him what was going on. They couldn't give no explanation because they all was hollering at him at the same time, as we all heard that. They hollering and screaming at the same time. The young man confused. He don't know which way to turn. He was in fear of his life. And that's the reason why I believe he tried to run, because he said, hell, if I just sit here, I'm going to die. And regretfully so, he had the right concept because, as we already know, he died because of this, because these police felt that they had the power to take a life. And that's what they did. And that's what I feel like, and then they be so inferior because all in school, they might be picked on and laughed at, or a lot of them didn't make the cut. And so now when they became police officers, they inflict that on other people, not even knowing that they the ones need the counseling as well, because you're growing up, you're getting picked on. So when you get to your point to where you want to be in life, whether it's the police or entrepreneurship, then you want to say, now, look at me now. And then and that splues out. It can be positive or it can be negative. But in my opinion, it was negatively displayed how they did that young brother. They didn't have no business doing that. It could have been stopped. It could have been prevented. But, for whatever reason, because we, like you said, we ain't going to know, because they ain't going to come clean. We ain't going to know why they did that. We ain't going to have an inkling clue.
Even in court, when they start sentencing
Right.
them, they're not going to tell it. They're not. So let me tell you what.
One thing I remember, Professor, when we was at the Quan McDonald trial, dude could not answer that question. Why did you feel the need to get out of your car and shoot this young man 16 times? And he was over 100 feet away from you. Why did you feel the need that? He couldn't answer that. And a lot of them don't answer that because they don't even have the answer to why they do it. And it's so sad, but it's true. They don't even have an answer to why they did what they did. And, so the only thing I can say, if it's anything good I can say came out of this, is we can hold them accountable for them white officers as well. Because you see how fast they tried and convicted our black officers in less than 20 days. So now that is a standard that we're going to hold them by. That's the only thing I've seen that came out of this, is that we'll be able to hold them to the same fire that they just held our black officers for, even though they was wrong. But if you look at the nature of how it was done. Now, Van Dyke, he went 2 years fighting the case. Rekia Boyd's murder, police officer murder, he went 1.5 years, and so on and so forth. Now, for our black officers, they had 20 days to be relieved of duties and everything. Not desk duty, they relieved of duty. They fired and they was charged. So we saying if nothing else came out of that, That's what came out of that. And that's all I can see that came out of that. Now we'll be able to hold all police officers accountable. We want 20 days. If something happened, and unfortunately, it will happen again if it ain't already happened.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. If we can get people to back that kind of thing. But let me tell you that the sources that told me said that many people in Memphis knew about that Scorpion group, and it's not the only group that's doing that. So that they are walking around in fear of, well, sort of like Training Day. Remember when Denzel Washington was in that picture?
Mm-hmm.
What the kind of thing he was doing and what he told those guys in the street when they finally caught up with him and they were all standing up looking at him. He said, I run this street. I own this MFer.
That's right.
It's me. You can't cross me. You
Right.
can't challenge me. And so
Yeah.
when you give people that kind of authority and put a weapon in their hand and give them the authority to take a life with that weapon, that's ultimate power. You're correct, Raymond. Power. It's a
Mm-hmm.
power thing. So then anybody that they want to talk to, Katie, if they come up here and think you're attractive and want to talk to you, and one of us stop them because they over there harassing you or whatever, then they call their boys because you ain't really interested. And me and Raymond walk up and say, okay, well, sister says she ain't interested. They gonna come in, the swarming power unit, sticking together like a gang, and
Yeah.
try to outdo the right that we're standing for, and that's what that's
Yeah.
all about. And so, as long as that is going on, and people
You
are
know,
being held
you know,
hostage,
I've always thought and read that when you are hired by the police department, and
no,
I assume this is this is an assumption, and I know assumptions are just like opinions. Okay,
yeah, that's true.
I, I assume that they do something psychological to make sure that the mindset, okay, that they try to hire, hire people with the right mindset, okay, not crazy people, or not people that are not rational, that people that can think in instances, circumstances that can make good decisions. I mean, this is just my personal opinion, okay? That when they get in a situation, that they are able to handle that situation in a professional manner, okay? And to see those videos, there was nothing professional about them. It's like they jumped out, they were hollering and screaming, and he was following directions, and it got him a beat ass.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Well,
to
I think
me,
I heard
they
one
had the
thing.
wrong. To me, they had the wrong people on the force. I
They
mean,
had.
that's my personal opinion.
That's why I think they had the wrong guy. Because I heard in the video someone say, "Is that him?"
Okay, but Professor Kincaid, when we're all human, we're human beings, so it don't matter who they stop. Nobody deserves that kind of beating.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
I
I
wouldn't
think
care. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if he was the worst man in the world. If you tell him to get out the car, if you tell him to lay on the ground, he does not deserve to be beat like that.
no,
By,
no,
by
it's
one
true.
man to be beat by five men and pepper sprayed.
Okay, well, I think we're putting a lot of things out here on the table and not really addressing all of them properly. One thing you asked was this right here was that, what about uh, this person's rights as a human being? I mean, you heard you say, no, not even the dog deserves the. Matter of fact, I think that you would get more reaction from large scale America if they had done a dog like that on film
Exactly.
than you would get from the other people.
Wait a
So
minute,
now,
but wait a minute. Are you saying that if he had been the right man, he still deserved to get beat like that? Is that what you're
no,
telling me?
no, I'm saying they made
Oh,
the
okay. All
mistake.
right. Okay.
They were looking for somebody else, and he happened to answer the description, and they made a mistake, and they killed him. Now they've
Oh,
been going to kill
so wait a
whoever
minute.
else they were.
So if they had found the right man, he still the right man would have got that whooping. I mean, I'm
Right.
confused.
No, I think they may have been going after the right man. I mean, not the right man, whoever else they. That was you asked me for an opinion. I gave you three, but anyway, um, and they were all theoretical. But if that is the case, and it quite possibly may be, that they may have ID'd the wrong person because of the description he fell into. Because listening at that is that him makes me think that. And so, um, nobody deserves to be beaten and mutilated, nothing. So no, you can take that question off the table. None of the
All
three of us
right.
are going to agree that's right. So it's no anything, ain't no right answer for that. It's wrong. Now, what in fact does that say about our people and about the system in general? That you also mentioned a few minutes ago that you were under the impression that these people were screened and they went through a process to protect and serve and all of that for the uniform before they were put on the force. And I'm gonna say this to you. I went home with my agent from Nashville one time, and we were going to Grenada, Mississippi to get some fish. We bought the fish and we had to get some ice. And we went to a service station. And it was late at night. We were on the way to Memphis to the airport. And I told her, I said, well, the best thing to do is get some coolers and pack the ice in there on top, sprinkle some salt on it, and make it freeze, wrap it up so good, and then, go on and take it with you. We were sitting there talking. This officer, who we didn't know was an officer, walked up to the car and took his nightstick out on her side of the car and picked the window. Well, she rolled the window down. Grenada is my hometown, and people know me pretty well there. So I'm assuming that, okay, well, what's going on? He bends over and said, may I ask why you all parked here? We said, we're waiting, and we're going to get some ice, and we're going to feed the ice down our fish. I said, excuse me, officer, sir, um, oh, I'm from here. And I gave him my name and everything through the car window. He turned around and looked at me. This is a black officer. He said, I'm not talking to you. I said, yeah, but I'm talking to you. Because, are we being detained or whatever? And then who are you? He wouldn't tell me his name, wouldn't give me his badge number. He turned around, showed me the back of his T-shirt that had police on the back of it. Have a meeting with the chief. This in the streets down here, make it possible to put these officers on the force. Then we demand as a community and inform them that we're not the only ones that need to be arrested. And we don't need to be treated like a bunch of dogs or whatever they want to think they are just because they wear the police uniform. So now you can call him in here and we can have that conversation, or we can have it on another level. And that's where you have to handle that. Most people wouldn't have, but it hurt my feelings because I was in that movement down there to the point where, and as an educator, I came home and put my career on the line a lot of times trying to help people, put my funds in the community to help them as well. And so I know all people.
Mm-mm. Did he,
So
you still there, Raymond? Okay.
yeah.
I think Professor froze.
So
I think.
what I'm gonna say is the Scorpion group, right? One way
Mm-hmm.
we can define and get a better understanding of it, I'm
Yeah.
watching it now. It's called "We Own This City." The
Okay.
crooked cops in Baltimore. How they,
Mm-hmm.
man, it's called the Gun Trace Task Force, and these
Mm-hmm.
guys was just as crooked as all outdoors in Baltimore. This
Mm-hmm.
with Freddie Gray and all that. So if you look at that, I think we can get a better understanding of what these group of men was on and how they was portraying, how they was acting, and all that stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
as I was looking at this, I was saying, "Wow, that's how they." So that's how the streets is, and believe it or not, they have that power, and they go around the city, and they do all this awful stuff, and they were doing some awful stuff in here, Kalo. I'm looking
Well,
at it now. I'm like,
it's a sad thing that it takes some crooked cops to make the good cops the bad.
mm-hmm,
It is. It's a sad thing because listen, you have some cops out here that are very good police officers. Now, and listen, I know this because I'm going to tell you something. My brother-in-law is dead, and he's been dead for quite a while now. But my brother-in-law, he was a master brick mason, and my brother-in-law used to get drunk. I tell you, he used to get drunk. And do you know the police in the community? They knew him. Do you know they used to drive him home?
yeah.
They could listen. They could have whooped his behind. They could have took him to jail. They could have towed his car, but they
We can't
didn't do
negate that
that.
it ain't no good cops, because it is. There's
That's why.
plenty of good cops.
That's why I'm telling you. I know that they're good officers. Okay, and that was right here on the west side of Chicago. Okay, but
But
it takes a handful of bad ones to make the good ones the bad. And
yeah,
when we look at that one bad apple, it can be a whole bushel. When we look at the one bad apple, we look at the whole bushel as being no good. We throw everything in one pot, and that's
yeah.
sad. That is so sad.
This cop on here, he was with them, then he left.
Uh
He
huh.
went on to become IA, Internal Affairs, and he's one of the ones that's taking them down in this documentary. You need to check it out. It's real. It's deep
Well, what you
because
need to do is send me that link, and I will watch it. I will watch it tonight. Is it on TV? Is it on YouTube or what?
no, it's on HBO.
Okay, well, send me the link, and I will
Mm.
definitely
But
watch it.
yes, a lot of great cops, and it's just unfortunate that they get overshadowed when stuff like this always, well, let me say, continues to happen. So now
Yeah,
we don't look at the cop who used to play basketball with the kids, the female cop
absolutely.
who used to jump rope with the young ladies, had the mentoring groups and all that. So all of that seems to go out the window as soon as these cats do something like this. And we just get reminded that, they're not all, because we don't want the good cops to get hurt because of what the bad cops have done. And
Right,
so
right.
we have to be mindful of that as well, because at the end of the day, this is a problem. And not only is it a problem, it's become a worldwide problem with the same units, and that's the police department. So it's
Mhm.
not just the police department in New York. It's not just in Chicago. It's not in Baltimore. It's not. It's everywhere. Everywhere the police department is, it's some crooked group in there that's robbing the drug dealers, killing the drug dealers, causing the fights with the different gangs and all of that, because this is what they do. And they cause more mayhem in the cities than the actual people in the city. But we don't know that because we looking at from a perspective of this gang shot this gang, or this gang did this to that gang. So we got to be real careful with that, because they're the ones who perpetuate a lot of the violence that you see in these cities throughout the United States. The police is the one who started that. Them crooked cops is the one who kick off them wars. Yeah, they
Don't
do it.
say the police started. Say the crooked cops started.
Well,
Okay.
the
We're not.
cops.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We're
It's the
not
same
gonna.
thing.
We're not. No, we are not going to listen. We can say the professors are the one who started the trouble, but it's not all
Same
professors.
thing.
It's the crooked professors. Okay, so we're
Same
not going
thing.
to bunch all of them in one basket. That is
I
not
agree with
fair.
you.
But that
Okay,
wasn't what was said. I was saying the crooked
No, it
cops.
really
But I
you
know
wasn't.
it's
said,
some
It
but
really
crooked
you
cops
said
out
wasn't.
it's.
there.
You said it was the police, but it's the crooked
Yeah,
But at
they
the
police.
end
used
of
the
the
word
day,
police, but it
unfortunately,
wasn't.
they're all police.
Um,
But they
they may
crooked.
all. Listen,
They
all of them are
crooked.
not crooked. All of them are not crooked, just like all politicians are not crooked.
No. I'm saying the ones who did it are crooked. The ones who beat
I
that young
agree.
man, they are
I agree.
crooked
I agree
cops.
with you.
And
Yeah,
unfortunately, they come from the police department. And that's why no one
right.
trusts the police department throughout the country, because they can't be trusted, even though we have a significant group of good cops out there who actually care about the communities and the well-beings. But because of these cats doing this type of stuff here, it gets
Okay.
overlooked. Like the good deeds that
Someone.
you do in the community, the good deeds you do in the community, they'll be overlooked by the alderman who don't do nothing just because she the alderman.
Absolutely.
But she
And
ain't
don't
feeding
even
the people every day like
listen.
Katie Lowe is, but she get
We're
overlooked.
not go, we're not going to even get to talking about these aldermen because you will make me throw up. Okay, don't make me throw up, please. Not on. don't make don't make don't
Okay,
make me
well,
get sick. But
hold up.
listen,
All right,
uh,
we
uh,
won't get to the argument now.
somebody
Look, what
William
I think
Blackwood.
Raymond has been trying to
Hold
say
on, hold
is
up,
this.
please hold on, Professor William Blackovich. He wants to know, what are you watching on HBO? He said you don't have HBO, but he can find it elsewhere. He said he went there, trucks in the hood. There's different accounts of them losing supplies and ammo somewhere. It's 100% police. No, they are held to the higher standards to be able. Oh, you put this up instead of reading. Hold on. Come
Well,
on. Hold on. I'm trying to put this comment in here. Oh my goodness. Did you go in? Okay, you see it's coming. Cops keep. Cops keep their guns, their good. There's been
Katie Lowe.
and be able to govern over. And here's another kind. They're
Just
supposed
for
to tell us.
have
And
more
be given
accountable because they
power.
should know
They,
better. Yeah. See, those some good comments right there.
but
Great
yeah, they are.
comments.
In a perfect world, they're good comments, but when you put it in the hands of the wrong people, like I was trying to tell you before the screen went black or whatever when happened, that young man he was the wrong person to give that authority to. wrong. And we
I'll
also
get
make
your
mistakes.
last comment in. We'll get your last comment in for tonight. Now, here's next week. We're going to get talking about why they keep. I thought we were going to get to do that tonight. We're going to talk about the importance of teaching like
Well, somehow or another, I don't understand anything you're saying. So maybe it's my. I signed out and re-signed in, and now you're breaking up. So I can hear Raymond, but I can't hear you.
Say it again, Katie.
No, well, I'm sorry. Huh? I said I thought we would get into the importance of teaching Black history, understanding Black history, but we didn't. So next week we'll start out talking about that on opinions. So I want
Okay.
everybody to get their last comment in tonight and make your last statement.
Until the policies are changed
Mm-hmm.
and the laws, nothing will change.
Until a collective understanding that Black men in this country are worth. We have value other than being able to go out and get free labor or cheap labor from us or whatever. That we are valuable. We help build a country. All those things that we can talk about doing, we don't get any credit for it until the collective understanding changes in terms of us respecting us and making other people see. People don't give you respect. Some people have to demand respect and make people give it to them. So until the value system changes in our heads, it's going to be very difficult to say.
Okay. Okay, listen, my name is Katie Lowe from Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Meta, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. You've been listening to Opinions. I do want to thank you for logging in. And we will see you back here next. Oh, listen to me. I almost lost today. We'll see you back here next Monday at 7 p.m. Right here on Meta, Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker with Professor John and author activist Raymond Richards. You all have a great rest of the evening, and may I say, good night, everybody. Bye, y'all.
Good
Peace and
night.
love.